Hello and a very warm welcome to today's webinar. My name is Jennifer Schmidt and I'm going to be your host for today. And I'll be giving you an introduction to Therefore. So in today's webinar, the goal is to give you an introduction using Therefore's web client. I cannot see or hear you, but I still want to interact with you. So if you do have any questions or comments, please ask them in the Q&A function, and I'll do my very best to answer any questions that you might have. So my name is Jennifer Schmidt. I'm a member of Therefore's digital engagement team, and my role is to create the e-learning as well as do webinars. So today's webinar is going to be focusing on an introduction to Therefore. We'll give you a web client orientation, and then we'll also talk about workflows and e-forms and all that. So Therefore is an information management solution that allows you to optimize your processes and have access to all your information in a single repository. And this really helps businesses of all sizes improve their productivity. One of the typical pain points that Therefore can really help improve is to have all of your information in one location. This is oftentimes an issue in businesses around the world, is that we have information silos, is that information is stored on different servers, in different apps, in different locations, on different, maybe in SharePoint, third-party systems, and that makes it really difficult to keep track of where the information is and what tasks there are to do. And by using Therefore, all your information, instead of being located all in different locations, is stored in one central repository. Another reason why Therefore can help improve your processes is that it can add structure and homogeneity to your processes. This means by adding digital workflows, which Therefore excels in, we can really make it easy to have a controlled and easily accessible standardized operating procedures. So instead of having just things be done ad hoc, there's always a workflow in Therefore which helps manage the way things are done. That means everyone always knows what order they have to do the different tasks, when those tasks are due, and who will do them. So in sum, Therefore gives you access to your data in a central repository. It allows you to capture your data, secure it, automate it, and analyze it. And today, when I give you the demo using the Therefore web client, we're going to see these key features in action. We're going to see the repository, the workflow, e-forms, and then also capture. Just to give you a little bit more information about these features, I do have a few more slides. I'm going to go through these slides quite quickly because I do know that many of you are already very familiar with Therefore. So speaking of the Therefore repository, all information is stored in the Therefore repository. Information could be invoices, delivery notes, CVs, contracts, any type of business critical information. And Therefore can be accessed in two different main ways. The first here in the back is the web client. This is a access over the web. So you simply enter URL into the browser of your choice, and you'll have access to the full Therefore repository. And then there's also an installed client, which is a client that you're installing on your PC. The web client is what we're going to be using today in the webinar for the demonstration. The web client is something that's very modern, easy to use, very intuitive, and we're going to focus on that because it is something that a lot of users really are keen to use. Because it is more modern, it is more intuitive. The installed client is also very useful, but it's more recommended for perhaps advanced users or users who are using Therefore in more complex scenarios. And the great thing about the web client is that you can also really quickly make reports, which will also show off. Now, we'll also show workflow, which is Therefore's superpower. So workflow in Therefore is a digitized business process. Workflows are created using drag and drop. And as you can see here, this is a screenshot from our workflow designer, and you can see there's a graphical interface showing exactly what steps are done in what order. And you can follow along to see at what stage the process is in. That gives you great transparency and visibility of the business process. And the other great thing is that if you're using Therefore Online, there are no limits on how many workflows can be created. So this means businesses of any size can create as many workflows as they want. You can create hundreds, if not thousands of workflows to really have full control of all business processes. So that's another really great advantage. And we do actually have many customers who have hundreds of workflows running on their Therefore systems. So again, that's no additional charge. Make as many workflows as you want using the drag and drop graphical designer. It's a really great way to get that increase in your efficiency. So another great feature that Therefore has is eForms, electronic forms. So eForms are a way to get information into the Therefore system. They can be accessed by people within the company, also externally. And they are so useful. A lot of business processes just need to get started using data collection, either through like a job application, a survey, a questionnaire. Any of that can start a workflow. It can be saved as data in the Therefore system. It can be linked to other data. So it's a really, really fast way. And again, eForms are included as a standard feature in Therefore. You can make as many eForms as you want without any additional charge. So this is also a really unique selling point in Therefore, is the ability to create all of these really flexible, amazing eForms. Yeah, and of course, getting the information into Therefore isn't limited to just the eForms, but you can get information into Therefore using a plethora of other ways, including email, Smart Capture, which is our AI-based invoice and finance recognition service, REST calls, which allows you to integrate with many other apps and services, or of course just scanning, or the API, which is the direct connection to a third-party app. Therefore is also available in 2 different deployment methods, which is on premises, where the server is installed on the customer's own premise, and the cloud version, which is Therefore Online, which is hosted on Microsoft Azure. From an end user perspective, both of these deployment methods look exactly the same. Most end users probably will never know if they're using an on-premise or a cloud version of Therefore. For administrators or CFOs, there is a difference, of course, because on-premises has a higher startup cost, whereas cloud is a per monthly payment. Also, a technical perspective, on-premises is the customer's responsibility for maintenance and updates, whereas cloud is hosted by Therefore and also updated by Therefore. And the software insurance is also included in the subscription fee. So we do have a lot of different options, so the right flavor of Therefore is there for everyone. Great, so that concludes this brief introduction to Therefore. I'm now going to move on to the live demo. I'm just going to quickly check to see if there's any questions or comments here. All right, and we've got some nice messages from people. Nice to see everyone. Boris from Antalya, very great, 35 degrees, and that sounds great. Andre from South Africa, very nice. And Emmy from the Netherlands. Okay, sounds good, guys. Welcome to all of you, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the webinar. So we're going to then move on, and I'm going to open up my web client. All right, so let me just... Here's my web client. All right, guys. So I'm going to just move my screen so I can share this screen here. And there we go. Share this one here. All right. So what you are seeing here is you should be seeing my digital engagement tenant, which is my system on Therefore Online. This is a demo system, so every single document that you see here, category, workflow, it was done specifically for demo purposes. I do want to say that just for security, just to make things clear that this is a system that we've created specifically for demonstrations. When you open up the repository, here's the repository node, and you'll see here's a search bar where we can search for different categories and workflows and that kind of thing. These are folders which we've used to organize our documents, the categories, which is where the different contents are stored. And then we can have subsections in here. So for example, I'm a member of the e-learning team, and so I can easily go here, and now I'm going to drill down into the different sections that you can see here. We have a lot of different documents. So one of the easiest ways that I could do it is I can either just drill down if I know what I'm looking for. For example, if I'm looking for a job application, I can click here and I can say all items, and then I can very easily see all of the documents that are saved in that category under the job application. I can also do a search text here. So for example, if I'm looking for someone who has applied for the marketing associate job, I can click here, and then I'm going to see all of the different candidates who have applied for as a marketing associate. And from there, I can either open up the document, or I can share it with another user, either within our company or externally as well. I can also download it, or I could also do a task. So I could ask a colleague of mine to maybe review it or do another action. If I look at a document here, if I select it, I can also check out the document history. So I can, for example, here we can see that when the document was last retrieved and it was saved. All other document actions as well would also be recorded here in the document history. So for example, if I shared the document with another user, if index data was edited, all of this will come up in the document history for full visibility and transparency. And then if I want, as I was saying before, it's very easy. I can just open the document. And it will open up for viewing here. And there's Kathy Garcia's CV. And there's also the option of claiming the workflow task, because this is attached to a workflow, as we can see here. So we can also then decide whether or not we'd want to process the workflow from here as well. So that is a really easy way to get started. Now, of course, you might also be wondering, okay, how do I save documents into the Therefore system? It's really easy. So what we can do, for example, is we can, we have a document that we want to save. For example, we want to save a new invoice to Therefore. I have an invoice here, which I want to save to Therefore. You can see it's a fictitious invoice. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and drop it from my Windows Explorer into my category here, Smart Capture Input, and it's being uploaded, and the file has been added. And it's already taking the document name and the storage date and saving it. And now when I go to all items, you can see here this document is here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the associated workflow, which is going to extract the invoice data from the workflow. It's going to extract the invoice data from the contents of that document. So this is it, basically the introduction now to how we use the repository view. This view here is the workflow view. And what you can see here, you can see all of the workflow tasks that have been assigned to me, Jennifer Schmidt. And you can see I do already have a Smart Capture workflow that I need to process. So that when it end up in inbox and no or overdue, the red indicates overdue processes. I can also see all of the workflows on the system. You can see there's really a lot. So we'll just check that here. And I will now go to user review. And this is asking me to see if the extracted values are correct. So what you're seeing here is this invoice, for example, here. This has been extracted. We have a tax invoice, the invoice number. If you can see here, this was also extracted. The VAT, for example. So as you go through, you can see the AI was actually able to extract all the values. And the due date, there isn't one. Let's say that. And then I'm also being asked to create a required approver. This is a custom setting that we've added. And now that all the required fields have been filled in, we can just simply click confirm. So it's really intuitive and easy to use. And then here is the other invoice, which we had just saved earlier. Once again, we can look at that. We can open the instance. And you can see, once again, all of the information from the invoice has been extracted. Invoice number has also been extracted. Currency was euros. And so all of this was just automatically recognized with the AI really easily, and we can just simply confirm. And the workflow moves on. So it's a really efficient, very easy way to use the AI together with your invoice processes. So you can see here the workflows are really visible. It's very easy to see what you have to do. Here you can also see I have some tasks that have been assigned to me. Some are overdue, so I better get on to that. But I do want to move on to another aspect of the web client, which is e-forms. And e-forms are electronic forms that are really easy to create. So as I mentioned earlier, they can be used by both internal and external users, and you can create as many e-forms as you want. On this system here, I am an administrator, so I have full privileges to create and see everything, which means I also have the ability to create a new form. So this is here, if I click on this icon here, the e-forms, I can simply say create a new e-form. And here I can then select what kind of form I want to create. For example, I can say sample e-form for webinar. And then click create. And then I can create this e-form simply by dragging and dropping the various components onto the field. So I don't need to do any type of scripting. I don't need any web design skills. It's really just selecting what questions do I want to put on my form and then adding in the text as I see fit. So a text field could be used, for example, for name. And then I can select the position. So for example, left aligned like that. And you can see there is already the name, and so forth and so on. So the e-forms can be created extremely quickly and easily, and it's a really great way to get information into your system. Now you might be wondering, if I go back, we're going to see what kind of e-forms there are and give you a demo of what kind of processes could be used. So actually I do have an e-form already here that I have created previously, and this is a job application. So this job application is for candidates who want to come work at our fictitious company, Moyaware. I do have a question, so let me just quickly see here. So it is, how can I initiate an electronic workflow using an e-form? That is a great question from Chris, and I will show you right away. So the e-form that we have here is actually linked to a workflow. The way it works in the background is information is saved to the e-form, it's mapped onto a therefore category, and then when the information is saved to the category, a workflow automatically starts. So all workflows can be configured to start as soon as information is saved to the associated category and therefore. And so what we have here is we have information going from the e-form to the category and then to the workflow. So let's give this a try then. So once again, I have a sample CV here for Kathy Garcia. And so we're going to drag and drop Kathy Garcia here, her CV. And her first name is Kathy, and her last name is Garcia. And her email is kathy.garcia.moyaware@gmail.com. And we'll have her site apply for a marketing professional. And we'll agree to the terms and click submit. Now, Kathy Garcia, we actually have a Gmail account for Kathy Garcia. And you can see here, she's already received an email, your application at Moyaware Corporation. This is an email that was automatically sent out by our workflow, thanking her for applying. So you can see this was 0 minutes ago, so this is really live. I'm showing you the real deal here. So she automatically received an email from Therefore Online saying that they've received her application and we're now going to review. So now if I go to the workflow here, and I show all, I should be able then to see that there is a new candidate for the job application. And we can then see her if we want to continue with her application or not. Let me just refresh really quick. And now we're going to go to all instances. And so you can see here the review CV has been assigned to Harry Evans. So we're going to claim this, and now it's assigned to me. And now, oops, we see here this is another CV for Julia Bell, but the process is the same. So what you can see here is we now have two options to either interview the candidate or reject. And we can review to see if she's a suitable candidate or not. And there's two options, and either interview or reject. So then let's interview her, and then it moves on to the next stage. So you can see the connection between the eForm and the workflow is very easy to create. Moving on, so if we go back to the eForms, we can see the different features that eForms have are extremely wide-reaching. We use eForms in numerous processes at Therefore, ranging from our extranet applications, which is our kind of intranet website for Canon and Canon parties. We can also use e-learning for a number of other things. The great thing is that you can also have a lot of data being collected in a really efficient way. For example, a gym registration form. And there's also the ability to have conditions too. So for example, here are medical information. If you have any medical conditions or allergies, it's yes, and then please describe. So that's a really great way to have the forms react to the data that people are inputting. Yeah, and we can also have things like the GDPR. So for example, if you're interested in increasing your business's compliance with the GDPR, eForms are also a really great way to do so. And finally, I also want to show you the dashboard, which is part of the web client's ability to help you get more analytics. So what you see here is a Skinner dashboard where I have the number of the documents that are saved, workflow instances, and more. Dashboards can easily be created by users who have permissions. So what we're going to do is we're going to just say the plus number, and then we can easily add tiles to it. So for example, you can add a number tile to display the certain number of workflows. We could say, for example, overdue workflows. We can then quite easily change the color of this tile. We could say overdue only and add it, for example. And if we wanted to add any other tiles, we can do so very easily by clicking edit and adding another tile here. For example, graph tiles are always really nice. Maybe we'll do a donut workflow instance. Workflow instance is finished by process. And so forth and so on. We can also add shortcuts to other documents, eForms, workflows, whatever it is. So in sum, the dashboard is really helpful. It's very easy to use. And dashboards can also be created and shared with other users and other groups. So for example, here we can share dashboards with other users. For example, here, this one is being shared by logistics. And we can also delete other dashboards as well if we want. So this means that it gives you a lot of flexibility, a lot of different options to customize the way that you're working to your needs and your different ways of working and your preferences. So the web client is a really great way to get started with. Therefore, it works really well. It's very intuitive, has a very sleek, nice interface. And so I hope that you guys get a chance to try it out yourself. I'm going to check the Q&A really quick. I don't see any other questions. We do have a question, can on-prem version install into private cloud? Yes, we do actually have people who are using it. If you're interested in using a private cloud, please contact our customer service team to get more information on that. But technically it is possible. All right, guys, I don't see any further questions. So in that case, I'm going to sign off for today and say, guys, thank you for spending your morning or your afternoon with me. I hope you have a wonderful day and stay in touch for our next webinar coming up next month. Have a great rest of your day and I'll see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.